Alrighty, here it goes. This is my first video, so bear with me. I was asked to do a video on a good technique for the sabenzas on the Sharpmaker. I've been using this style of sharpener for 30 years now, maybe more. And it's all I use. I don't use the gimmicky $300 sharpeners. This is what my father used, and the Sharpmaker is just an improved version of the old vintage crock sticks, and Lansky's and Smith's and several other companies made them. But I have three sabenzas here just for an example. This is an old classic. As you can see right by the tip, because of the individual who had it before me didn't tilt the blade, you can see it took a lot off the shoulder. So the point is actually at least 1/8 of an inch deep. A lot of material is removed from the shoulder, and as I turn it, you can see, you know, the rest of the blade up until about here, because they didn't turn it and tilt the knife slightly during the stroking of on the sharpening system. It took all that metal off the shoulder. That's what you don't want. And that's when I see a sabenza for sale, I always, look at the blade, and I've passed up dozens and dozens that look like this. But this is an old classic. I got it a long time ago, quite a while ago actually. This is actually the newest one I got. This one, you can see the edge is symmetrical all the way down. It's pretty much a factory edge. I did touch it up a little bit, but you can see it's might be a little bit more removed from the point, but it's I'm happy with that one. This is a Spalted Beach, pretty new one for me also. This one has virtually a factory edge. I did, a couple swipes in the fine stones, but it's about as, just like it came from Chris Reeves. Alrighty. So, a good tip if you're new to this, to the Sharpmaker, and I'll use the newer one I got, is the Sharpie trick. And I don't know whoever come up with it, is pretty good. So what I do is I get the Sharpie and I Sharpie the whole edge of the blade. And this is a good, especially for somebody that's learning. It'll show you where you're hitting on your ceramic sticks. So you can see that, the very black edge, the whole edge is black. So I'll bring the Sharpmaker over. My sticks were as black as coal earlier. I cleaned them up. I just get some Comet that you use for, scouring powder. Sprinkle some of that in a paper towel and wet it and just run it under the sink, and it'll make them look like new. Okay, so get the sabenza. You don't want to keep going and not tilt it. If you keep doing that, over time, you will end up with this. And I've seen that on the old buck knives and stuff. They had a pretty sharp point also. And you gotta tilt it towards the end a little bit. That's where the sharpening systems that clamp the blade in the vise like thing that they use. Their bevel is beautiful here, but once you get to that last inch, you start taking off the shoulder, which you don't want. Once you take it off, it can't go back. So I'll set these aside. So all I do, bring it down, and as you get to about 1 inch or so from the tip, just tilt it just a little bit. I don't know the exact degree. But now notice I'm stopping right at the tip. I don't want to round the point off. You know, you want a nice sharp point. You can also use the flats of the stones, which a lot of people use. And if you do that way, stop the tip right in the middle of the stone. If you pull it off, you know, over time you're going to round your tip. And again, once it's rounded, you'd have to regrind it, or, you know, send it back to Chris Reeves or for a spa, and, you know, then you don't have your knife for 2 months. But trim down, stop, down, stop. And I'm used to doing it, so I went a little faster there, but just come down nice and slow. And just tilt it slightly and then stop. Nice and slow, tilt nicely, stop. I do this whether it's the one-piece knives. I sharpened my Nyalas a while ago. The one-piece knives, the Spenzas, every knife, no matter what brand, this is how I do it. And as you can see, just them couple strokes that I did, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you can see the Sharpie is gone, and you can see where by tilting that the Sharpie is removed right on the very edge. And this knife it didn't shave hair, and it doesn't take much. And look at that. I don't know if you can see hair on there, but it doesn't take much. I mean, I see people, I spent the afternoon sharpening my Sabenzas. If you keep them reasonably sharp, you know, sometimes just a half a dozen strokes on each side is all you need. I'm gonna go back to the corners. It might be easier to see the tilt. But bring it down, tilt, and then stop. And I don't know the degree. And I won't make note, I always use the 40-degree setting on a Sharpmaker, which is 20 degrees per side. I only ever use the 30 degrees for like a paring knife, something with a blade that's like, you know, 1/16 of an inch thick, paring knife, fillet knife. But for Sabenzas, you know, I always use the 40-degree setting. I'm not into micro bevels and all that crap. This is how, and I have Sabenzas that I have had for 10 years, and the edge still looks factory, because, you know, you don't have to take much metal off to get it sharp. But the Sharpie trick, that's even great if you're reprofiling. If you have a knife that's the edges is pretty beat up, or if you want to make it even. I mostly use the white stones. I have the brown ones here. I don't have the diamond stones. I do have the ultra fine, and they will put a mirror edge on the Sabenza. I've tinkered with that a little bit, but you know, to me the knife is to cut. It's not to, you know, for show and to impress people. You know, as far as the edge goes. But I used to make Blu-rays and DVDs and Blu-rays for 11 years, so when I seen this one come up, it reminded me of the DVD and the Blu-rays spinning in the testers, because we had to test all the discs when we made them. But reminded me of that. But I'm just now actually getting to the point where I can open the Sabenza with my right hand, because I had broken it. But I hope that helps answer any of your questions. It's pretty straightforward. You know, again, I can go over it one more time. But just down, tilt, stop, down till stop. I do the same with the regulars. Not a lot of pressure. Let this, just like if you know, using sandpaper sometimes, let the abrasive do the work. You know, the last thing you want to do is, you know, you don't want to be grinding in. Just, and you can see there's already, and I had just cleaned these, and there's already, you know, black on there. It's just the steel, you know. But hopefully that answers everything. I mean, that's the technique I use. I've you know, used it for this style of system for a lot of years, like I said. What I like about this is I know this is 40-degree setting. The other ones, you know, it didn't say on the packaging. So, and I used to actually have a mark because I got in an eBay tear for a while where I was buying up the old systems, and I had marked on there, you know, this one's good for the Shadow 3, this one's good for the regular Sabenzas, this one's good for that. And, you know, then I finally invested in the Sharpmaker, and I actually have 2 of them. This was my first one. I bought a backup one time. Sometimes you see deals on them on the forums and stuff that, you know, they'll have the diamond stones and everything, and maybe someday I'll even get another one. But that pretty much covers it. You know, if you have any questions, just reach out to me, and you know, if you using the Sharpie trick will you know, definitely show you where you're hitting. I mean, you can practice, you know, on an older knife first. That way you can see, you know, that you are hitting where you want. I do have a couple Sabenzas here and there that, you know, I'll do the Sharpie trick, and I'm hitting actually up in the shoulder a little bit. I'm not going to reprofile it. You know, I'll just, and if I have that case, I'll just tilt it just a little bit, just about the same degree that I would tilt it down here. I would tilt it just a little bit. And I've had to do that. There's a couple Sabenzas I have that are like that. You know, they are hand ground, so, you know. And I'm not one to nitpick and go and like, oh my God, that's 21 degrees, or that's 19 degrees, or, you know, 19 and a half degrees. I will say that BG42 is a lot harder to sharpen in my experience. I like S30V. I think mostly because it was on the regulars, and the regulars were always my favorite, but I was anti-21 for quite a while, and just because of how pointy they are, and I've had people, you know, freak out and like, oh my God, you have a machete in your pocket, and you know, but they've since grown on me, and I actually have probably way more 21s now than I have regulars, But if you have any questions, you know, I'll send this off to you, or to anybody else that wants to hear me ramble. You know, if it can help them out. I learned myself. You know, I watched my father and them sharpen their knives and stuff, and I even used to make knives at one time. And my left arm here, I would have no hair on it because I would always sharpen a knife until it would shave hair. And but again, any questions? Just, you know, send me a PM or anything, and I'll get back to you. You know, I've had so many people help me out, you know, over the years in the forums and stuff, answer questions and stuff, and so it's always nice to share with, you know, what I've learned. And thanks for watching. Hope this helped you. And again, if you have any questions, just ask. Thank you much. Bye.